प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। बिंद्रावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय। सबको जय सीताराम। Let me extend a very, very warm and cordial welcome to each and every one this morning. Both those who are here with us physically at the Krishna Mandir of Todd Street, San Fernando, and to the many viewers online, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Shubh Swagatam. Today is a very beautiful Sunday morning, quite sunny, very lovely outside. And today we join with many, many thousands and millions of persons world over in looking at this third Sunday in the month of June, dedicated to the celebration of fathers. So happy Father's Day to all of the fathers who are here, all of the persons who perform the role of fathers, all of the mothers who also perform the role of fathers. And this morning, as well as we engage in that sense of gratitude, we also recall fondly the work of all of the fathers who are no longer physically here with us, but who have left an indelible mark for us indeed to benefit from. I invite us all to now stand as we engage in invocation mantras and pratna this morning. And as we do so, I invite you to gaze at the murtis before you, whichever form you find most endearing, most appealing. I invite you to fix your gaze on that form. Firmly entrench in your mind that wonderful image of Bhagavan. And then closing the eyes, the windows to this physical world, let us go within as we pray to Bhagavan. Hari Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Shri Saraswate Namah. Om Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namah. Bhagratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swudha Namostute. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Mande Jagadguru. Nagindraharaya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaragaya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandramabedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaye Pataye Namah. Om Manojavam Marutatulyavegyam Jetindriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Bhatatmajam Bharatayutamukam Shri Ramadutam Shirishi Namami. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. My dear, please resume your seats as we now glorify the name of Ganesh Bhagwan.
नाचत आई गणपति आनंद राजी गोविंद राधे. 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 गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे
गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
डमरू बजावत शंकर भी आए डमरू बजावत शंकर भी आए संग में आए पार्वती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे संग में आए पार्वती
आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
ब्रह्मा भी आए विष्णु भी आए
ब्रह्मा भी आए विष्णु भी आए
संग में आए सरस्वती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
संग में आए सरस्वती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
राम भी आए कृष्ण भी आए
राम भी आए लक्ष्मण भी आए
संग में आए सीता सती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
संग में आए सीता सती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
बंसी बजावत कृष्ण भी आए
बंसी बजावत कृष्ण भी आए
संग में आए राधा रानी आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
संग में आए राधा रानी आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
संकट मोचन बजरंगी आए
संकट मोचन बजरंगी आए
भक्ति के संग देने शक्ति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
भक्ति के संग देने शक्ति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
नाचत आए गणपति 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 आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे
Prams Bole Shri Ganesh Bhagavan Ki Jai. On this occasion of Father's Day, as children we look up to our fathers to be the exemplars, the role models. Some of the qualities that are normally attributed to our fathers are ones of strength, of courage, of fearlessness. And indeed, drawing the parallel to our scriptures, whenever we contemplate those traits, the image that immediately should come to mind is that of Mahavira Swami, Hanumanji, the epitome of Bal Buddha Vidya. This morning, as we sing his glories and praises, let us all dedicate Hanuman Chalisa to the fathers of our community.
Sri Guru Charan Saroj Raja निज मन मुकुर सुधार, वरनो रघुबर विमल जसु, जो दायक फल चार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय 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 हनुमान, 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 जय 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 हनुमान। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, काने मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र की काज सवारे। लाए संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। सहस वदन तुम्हरो यस गावे, हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद शारद सहित अहिसा। यम कुबीर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान। तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर पल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारी तेते। राम दुआरी तुम रखवारी, भोजन आज्ञा बिन पैसारी। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरण, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन चीज संहारो आभी, तीनों लोक हाकती कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरि सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा, संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनकी काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत की तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारी भजन राम को भावी, जन्म जन्म की दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चेतन धरे, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महा सुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होई सीधी साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महादेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप, जय 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 हनुमान, 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 जय 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 हनुमान।
प्रेम से बोलो श्री महावीर स्वामी की जय। This morning our satsang will be slightly different in the sense of the manner in which we will proceed. On the occasion of Father's Day, as has customarily been the case, our service would be coordinated by the members of the Sri Sivak Sabha, the ladies group of the Mandir. And this morning, as we emerge from the pandemic, we are getting back to traditions along that vein. Similarly, we would have had the input from the various stakeholders, including the children's class, and we will be having something shortly from them. But at this juncture, I would want to invite to the podium to bring greetings and thereafter to introduce the children's class, the president of the Sri Sivak Sabha, Mrs. Anne-Marie Tiwari. Please give her a round of applause.
our dear Panditji, Pandit Rudi, the chairman of the Krishna Mandir Management Committee, Mr. Maldev Mukesh Maharaj, brothers and sisters all, Sitaram. It is with great delight that I stand before you to bring greetings to all the fathers on this special day. From the Sri Sevak Sabha, the Women's League of the Mandir. Of course, every day should be Father's Day, but these days are selected specially to remind us of that. And the delight, because as Panditji pointed out, we have not had this celebration at the Mandir for 2 consecutive years due to COVID. COVID has certainly taken a toll on all of us and has caused immeasurable stress on family life. Fathers and mothers were heavily burdened in many ways, including joblessness and having to supervise their children on their online classes. In fact, many students, and this is the fallout, many students have been trapped in the negative aspects of exposure to online because parents were either ignorant, not in the Trinidadian way, ignorant meaning they were unaware of how to cope with online classes. Or some of them were just careless. You know, a child sits with a tablet or a phone or a laptop and they're very quiet. So that's all the parent is happy with, not looking at what they are actually viewing. I venture on this topic because parenting has become even more difficult in the COVID scenario. And we saw the need for fathers to chip in to help more with the nurturing of the minds. I don't think the children's class is ready yet. Okay. At this juncture, we would like to accommodate the children because, you know, they are special, and if they are ready, they are ready. So let us put our hands together, and I will continue after. Yes, let us welcome the children's class.
Testing 1. Testing.
गणेशाय नमः Teach me the basics and then let me learn. Should I ever get stuck, I'll just know where to turn. Cheer me up, Daddy, when I'm feeling blue. I can always rely on a kind word from you.
Dry my tears, Daddy, when I'm feeling sad. Let me know it's okay and I won't feel so bad. Show me the sunshine and then set me free to be the brilliant person that you raised me to be. Happy Father's Day!
Thank you, little angels we have there. All faithful members of the children's class, and I think everyone should know by now we have an excellent Bal Vihar program which runs every Sunday. And of course, right now we are trying to pull it together again. And as we continue, and we were speaking about the difficulty of parenting in these times, we have decided that we would do a message with a difference. Our speakers are young men who grew up in this mandir. They both also attended Naprima College. You see them all the time. They are so busy helping us to make sure that this service is held every Sunday and that it is on Facebook and online every Sunday. Amral Prasad is 30 years old. He doesn't look so, eh? He graduated from the University of the West Indies with a BSc in Electrical and Computer Engineering. He has also completed his private helicopter license. Amral is currently employed as a sub-lieutenant attached to the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. Alongside him is 28-year-old Dr. Mitra Maharaj, a medical doctor attached to the Southwest Regional Health Association and Trinity Medical. Mitra received an additional scholarship in 2012. So, brothers and sisters, let us put our hands together as we welcome our two hardworking gentlemen who are always behind the scenes. And of course, we see Mitra in front of the mic all the time, but not Amral so much. So please welcome Mitra and Amral to the podium.
Sitaram devotees. So, Auntie, one little twist that we thought it would be a good surprise is we would like to include one of the other persons to our discourse or speech or message this morning. And that person would be Roger Bisoon, who would be coming on after Mitra Maharaj to give his twist. Sitaram, everybody. First of all, and excuse me for doing this in the most humbling way, but I'd like to take this opportunity to firstly wish my father a happy Father's Day this year. So now that that formality is over, I would like to take this opportunity to wish all the fathers in Temple today a happy Father's Day, and all those who may be viewing us online on Facebook and YouTube, a special happy Father's Day to you all. And for those who have acted as a father at some point in one of our lives, we appreciate everything you have done for us. So I'd like to use my message today in a sincere and humble way to share how my experience could be a message on a macro level that can translate to fathers out there about what it takes or the challenges that persons would face, but what is required of a father. Now, persons would describe their fathers as the world's strongest man, as a superhero. But based on my experience, I would like to take from my father, and that experience is one of resilience. In today's society, as we see different challenges that persons are faced, we are so consumed by the social media and the negative images that is publicized about how easy it is for a father to fail, how easy it is for fathers to give up. And that's just on a Trinidad level. But it's so easy, based on what we would see, fathers choosing a selfish way out of it because they are not resilient enough to withstand the challenges that they face home. And then we question, why is today's society in that sense? So the quality that my father has as a superhero is that of resilience. What does it take to face the challenges in life growing up and be able to impart that upon your children, whether you do it verbally or subconsciously? And when I look at my experience and seeing my father growing, as I was growing up, and see the challenges my father faced, whether it was at the workplace, whether it was at home, whether it was at personal health, he always kept that smile on him, and he always chose, in my opinion, the stronger part out, which is to be resilient to all the challenges, and regardless of what, imparted that upon us. Now, at times we may not always agree and we may have our differences, but one thing that remains with me is the resilience. But separate from being resilient, because persons might think that resilience is showing that hard and strong outer shell. But what about the softer side in it? What about the resilience to show our emotions? What about the resilience to show that we have a softer side, as most times persons may not look at men as having that soft inside. But sometimes it's good to show that mushy and gooey side of us, because as men, having that mental, emotional, and physical support around us, it shows that no matter what life challenges we may face, for example, me as a youth growing up, we may face disappointments in school, we may face disappointments in relationships, but how do we be resilient and be able to continue loving, continue showing that softer and more emotional side of us? And in today's challenges, knowing from where we would have come, and then persons having the challenges, as Auntie would have said, of the new technology, facing all the challenges with COVID, we speak into the masses here, but for those who may not know, the strength that it takes for a father to stand with their children and learn a whole new platform of online learning, stand with their children, something that you would not have been accustomed to, and to be there to support with them, in my opinion, shows that level of resilience that we all need to carry out today. And I think as it continues to start home, echoing everything Pandit Rudy would have said, as we continue to push that from home, and as young men continue to grow and be resilient in life, we will continue to develop Trinidad, we will continue to develop ourselves and produce the kind of fathers that the younger generations need in the upcoming years. This is my short message for Father's Day. I would like now to hand over to Dr. Mitra Maharaj.
Sit down, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that here present today, and those of you who are joining us online, happy Father's Day to you as well. Now, when Auntie Anne-Marie approached us to do the Father's Day message this morning, she asked us to speak from a perspective of which we were growing up, looking up to our fathers, what we learned from them, and what we think that fathers, the new fathers out there, could pass on to their kids and their children growing up now. So two things I wanted to touch on that resonates with me from learning from my father is, one, family support, and two, integrity and honesty. So as Auntie and Amral alluded to as well, it's so easy in this society now for a father to leave the home, to abandon their home and their duties as a father. I mean, the whole concept of the child father is something that pervades our society to now, right? And something that's very, very prevalent. And it's something that, I mean, I growing up didn't understand the concept of a child father, right? And not a father in the home, somebody who, I mean, I grew up looking at my father. My father was very busy. He had business, he had other things that to attend to, but yet he still found the time to be there and guide my brothers and I to be, I mean, somewhat of a success that we are today. in that very limited capacity, right? And for him to be there, to be that pillar of strength to us to look up to and to grow up, and looking up to that example is something that I think fathers, the new fathers now should be passing on to their children, to be present in the home, to take an active role in their children's education, in their extracurricular activities, and just be present, be there to support them through everything that they are going through, whether it be, as Amral said, relationships, whether it be education, whether it be playing football, whatever it is, to be there and just support them through it all. The other point is integrity and honesty. The breakdown that we see in society today could be directly linked to that breakdown in integrity and that breakdown in honesty. And we see that so rampant from top down in this country, from politicians straight down to the layperson. And it's something that in growing up that I learned that being honest and being somebody whose integrity cannot be questioned is something that I needed to try to do, to be example of. Now, that was not something taught to me by words. I wasn't spoken to about that. But just watching my father as an example, that spoke for itself, right? And fathers today, most fathers, a lot of fathers today can't even speak to their children about being honest and being somebody of integrity, because themselves are not someone of honesty and integrity. And that breakdown in morals and values, to me, is what lead into the school violence and all these different things that we see now with kids. No, that was just two things that I wanted to touch on this morning and just pass on to the new fathers that are growing their kids up. There are many, many kids here in the temple this morning, and many that come on a regular basis. And something that's very important that just came to me as well is growing up in the temple. Me, my brothers, we grew up here. We from a child straight to adulthood, we grew up in this temple. And that in itself instills a value in the kids, that they will grow up to be wanting to come to temple. I come to temple without my father saying anything now. I'll wake up on my own, whether he here or not, I here, right? And it's something that from a child, I grew up learning that I needed to be in temple. But, sit down, everybody, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and all the ones who are joining us online as well. Let me just pass you on now to Roger. He will now continue our third part of the message this morning. Sitaram.
Hi, Sitaram all. So this morning, my speech or discourse is going to be a little different from Amral's and Mitra's. My dad would have died about more than 10.5 years ago. But since then, I am now the proud uncle of 2 wonderful nieces, and I also am now the proud father of a now 4-year-old boy. And this morning, I just basically want to share my experience of what has been, what we'll call a new father, I guess, and hopefully to see many more years of being a father, and to kind of give advice to the potential fathers. So I did a Google search to see what is really the role of a father. And, while going through different websites, 3 things really stood out. And that is that a father should be a protector, provider, disciplinarian. So this morning I'm going to kind of touch on those 3 topics, but with a slightly different angle, right? So the role of a protector. We live in a world now where there's a lot of crime around us. Recently, if you all can remember, last month in the US in Texas, a 19-year-old boy went to an elementary school and shut up the school, killing 19 children and 2 teachers. And those children were the ages of like 8 to 11, right? recently in Trinidad a few months ago, we had where children went missing and they were found dead. You had where there were a few children that were different episodes of drowning. So there's a lot of crime around us. And we live in a world now where it's not like long time where you could have actually trust your child with the neighbor. Now, the people that you could actually trust your child with, you could probably just count on one hand, right? So the thing is, how do you be that role of a protector as a father, knowing that there's so much crime around us? And my one answer really is to just basically put your trust in the one person that you know who is always there. And that person, as we know, is Bhagwan, right? He's always there. So I like to start by saying that, one of the things that my father always ensured me and my sister is, religion. Always pray to God. And, and that's something that I do myself, that, there are times when obviously we can't keep our children with us at all times, right? They have to go to school, they have to be out there in the world. So when you are not around, the most that you could do is pray and ask God to be there to protect them, to guide them, to watch over them. Secondly, disciplinarian. Now I know when we all hear of discipline, well, if the child does something wrong, punish the child. So I want to take a step back a bit and just for us to kind of remember, a few months back there was an episode in Trinidad where a dad was beating his daughter, I think she was around 15, and she fell down a flight of stairs and died. And there have been past episodes where you would hear parents beating their children and end up dying. So to start with, being a father is not an easy job. To be honest, is one of the hardest things I have ever done, right? I've been through, well, my time was common entrance, now SCA, CXC now, CSEC and CAPE, university, and throughout all of that, I'll honestly say the hardest thing is probably being a father or being a parent. And I know Pandit really is saying, well, he only has one, what about if he had four? So, and I know some of you older parents are probably saying, well, your child is only 4 years, wait till he's a teenager, then what you'll say, right? But, it's not an easy job. And, psychologically, I think you have to be prepared for having a child. It's not easy when a child is crying all the time, fussing all the time, they're not listening, they're opposing everything you say. And, mentally, you have to have a strong mental health, I'll say, to know that, okay, if you're not getting sleep and you're in this mood, that what are you going to do when the child is being this way? Are you a person who's just filled with anger? So as soon as you reach that mental point, you're just going to take up something and start to beat this child. If you tell the child, stop jumping there and he doesn't listen, what are you going to do? Take out your belt and start to beat the child? No, right? So I think that before we reach to be able for ourselves to discipline a child, we ourselves have to have that discipline in us to be able to control ourselves, to control our anger, and to know what is the correct method or way of disciplining a child. And just as a note, for me personally, beating a child and disciplining a child are two different things, right? You could discipline a child without beating. That's just my thought. I know that's a whole another topic we could discuss on. So the third thing is being a provider. Now, when you think of provider, you think of, well, a father providing for his family, being the breadwinner, the basic stuff, food, clothing, a shelter. These days, some people might say internet, because there's no internet at home, you can't live. Actually, to Anne-Marie's point, I went to a wedding yesterday and I saw a family came with 2 teenagers, and as soon as those boys sat down, they pulled out their headphones. And I was like, wow, that's where we reach now, right? So, for me, I think a father as a provider is being more than that. And it's what we heard like Amaral and Mitra spoke about, right? Is being able to give your love and support to a child. Is be able to, the most important thing for me is to spend time with your child. And when I think back of all the fun times with my dad, or the times with the memories that I have with my dad, are the things that we would have done together, the fun times that we would have done together. So I think, honestly, the most important thing is be able to make that time. I'll give you an example. There was one time I came home from work, and I work in Port of Spain, and those of you who know working in Port of Spain, the traffic to come down, it's ridiculous. So there was one time, and now because of COVID, when you get home, you have to sanitize, shower first, and then so I would hug him up, play with him after all of that. So then there I would sit, watch TV while I tried to de-stress from a hard day's work, and then he's there sitting and playing. And then I caught myself saying, but do I really just want to sit and watch TV while he just sits and plays and let this time goes by? No, right? So I stopped and I sat and I played with him. And I think that is the one thing that you have to do to be able to spend time with your child. You hear so many things about fathers having to work late, work extra, all these other things, but you have to be able to find the time to be with your child, to give your time with your child. Just trying to read through my notes. Yep, and that's pretty much it. So the last thing I just want to leave you with is a quote that I found on the American Psychological Association website. And it says, psychological research across families from all ethnic backgrounds suggests that fathers' affection and increased family involvement help promote children's social and emotional development. So I'll read that over slowly. Psychological research across families from all ethnic backgrounds suggests that fathers' affection and increased family involvement help promote children's social and emotional development. So at this point, I'd like to say thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. A special Happy Father's Day to two persons who have been there for me since my dad passed away, and that is Pandit Rudy, and also to my father-in-law. They have definitely been there for me. So happy Father's Day to them especially, and to everyone else. Thank you.
We have certainly been fortunate this morning to hear from two potential fathers about resilience and integrity and true life experience from Roger, our surprise guest on addition to the program. And basically, we are seeing a father is a transmitter of values. And that's what we must understand. Years ago, when we were children, I think many of us knew the father was just there. He was there, a good provider, but sometimes not as emotionally attached as you see fathers today, part of the growing up and the growth of the human mind in our society. So before we go on, I'd like to ask Ms. Maureen Singh to make some small presentations to our guest speakers as a thank you for their hard work in putting something together for us. As we wait, our surprise gift to fathers today, we have decided to be environmentally friendly and give plants as our tokens. So fathers, when you go out there, make sure you browse, take something that you don't have, so you will remember us when you plant it and as it grows. And with the number of fathers, you may even be able, we may be able to afford to give you a second one if you have having difficulty choosing. So Ms. Maureen Singh, could you come and make the presentations to Amral, Mitra, and Roger, please? Thank you very much, Ms. Maureen Singh. We have our Father's Day program, and we thought we would like to specially thank 3 fathers who make sure that we are here every Sunday because they are here. And it is a commitment. When you think of, sometimes we can say, okay, I'm not going today, but these 3 fathers show up as long as they are committed. So could we ask Pandit Rudy to come forward, and we are asking Mrs. Shanti Maharaj to make that presentation. Okay, Pandit Rudy, make sure you plant it and nurture it. Thank you. And we'll ask Mrs. Sherida Chandrajit, Sherry here, to make a presentation to Pandit Dev. And we'd like Mrs. Mana Brijlal to make a presentation to Mr. Maldev Mukesh Maharaj. And I deliberately say Maldev Mukesha because sometimes when you are talking about Maldev, people say, who? So, yes, the people behind the scenes who always ensure that everything is operational. So once again, fathers, have a great day. Take your commitment seriously. And I know many of the fathers here have no issues, but it's important now that we become our brothers' keepers and we start to send a message to other fathers that we know that it's only if we have a change in family life we will see a better Trinidad and Tobago, a better world. Once again, on behalf of the Sri Sevak Sabha Incorporated, happy Father's Day to all. And make sure you collect your tokens and as you go out and take care of it. Thank you.
The use of plants and so on is a very wonderful initiative. So thank you all very much once more. Thanks to the children's class, the Balvihar class. I want you to give them a round of applause. All the children who really, it takes a lot to stand there and gaze at all of the eyes looking on at you and to be able to deliver in the eloquent fashion in which they did. At this juncture, as we go into the RT, where persons are invited to come forward and to perform your RT, we also have 2 tallies that are prepared here. And I will ask Gangadine to please assist me in lighting them. And there's also some flowers. So I'd invite the children who are here, if you would like to perform RT to your father, to your parents, to those persons who you consider to be your fathers or father figures, that we have flowers and we have tallies that are prepared. And you can come forward and take them, go to your father, and to perform his RT. While this is ongoing, the group will engage in kirtan, and you are invited in the usual fashion, wearing the gloves and physically spacing, to come forward and perform your RT. So I hand over to members of the kirtan group now as they engage in kirtan.
तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीप कहो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा लाज दुलारा। तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीप कहो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा। मैं कब से तरस रहा था, मेरी आंगन में कोई खेले, नन्ही से हंसी की बदले, मेरी सारी दुनिया ले ले। तेरे संग झूल रहा है, मेरी बाहों में जग सारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा लाज दुलारा। तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीप कहो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा। आज लिखता के तेरे, तुझे मैं चलना सिखलाऊं, कल हाथ पकड़ना मेरा, जग में पूरा हो जाऊं। तू मिला तो मैंने पाया, जीने का नया सहारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा। तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीप कहो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा। मेरे भार भी इस दुनिया में, जिंदा मेरा नाम रहेगा, जो भी तुझको देखेगा, तुझे मेरा लाल कहेगा। तेरे रूप में जाएगा, मुझको जीवन दोबारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा। तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीप कहो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा राज दुलारा।
So, to make things a little easier, especially for the smaller children, the front bench is vacant. There are 2 tallies here and there's a basket with flowers. You can escort your father to the front bench. You could put the flower on his head and perform his tali. It's very easy and all of the preparations have been made, so it makes it easier than traversing back and down the aisle. So the front bench is completely vacant. Young children, you can bring your fathers to the front and you can perform the arti.
हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
बचपन में होश न आया है, जीवन में पाप कमाया है।
बचपन में होश न आया है, जोबन में पाप कमाया है।
अब जाऊं कहाँ ऋषियों ने
मुझको मारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
दिल मेरा तू यह कहता है, तू मन मंदिर में रहता है।
दिल मेरा तो यह कहता है, तू मन मंदिर में रहता है।
दिन रात भटकत रहा मैं, दर दर मारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
पापों से भगवन हमें बचा, वेदों का सच्चा भक्त बना।
पापों से भगवन हमें बचा, वेदों का सच्चा भक्त बना। पाखंड ज्योत से सब ही करे किनारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा। हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
मझधार में है डेरा मेरा, कृपा कर आश्रय है तेरा।
मझधार में है डेरा मेरा, कृपा कर आश्रय है प्यारा, हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा, हे जगत पिता भगवान, हमें दो ज्ञान, तू ईश्वर प्यारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा,
दुनिया में
एक सहारा, दुनिया में एक सहारा।
न तेरा जान तेरा जा न तैनी शीख राय राय जा न तेरा जान तेरा जा न तैनी शीख राय राय जा न तेरा जान तेरा जा न तैनी शीख राय राय जा न तेरा जा न तेरा जा न तेने शीख राय राजा शिव राजा शिव राजा न तेने शीख राय राजा शिव राजा शिव राजा न तेने शीख राय राजा शिव शिव नमो हरे हरे नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शंकर शिव नय तेरा जा 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 नय तेरा जा नय तेरा जा नय तैनी शीख राय राय जा न तेरा जा न तेरा जा न तेने शीख राय राजा नमः पार्वती पत हर हर 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 महादेवा हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा हर 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 महादेवा न तेरा जान तेरा जा न तैनी शीख राय राय जा न तेरा जा न तेरा जा न तैनी शीख राय राजा शिव राजा शिव राजा न तैनी शीख राय राजा शिव राजा शिव राजा न तैने शीख राय राजा शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव
शिव नमो हर हर नमो
शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
नमः पार्वती पद हर हर
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 हर हर हर हर महादेवा
हर 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 महादेवा
ओम हर 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 महादेवा
हर 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 महादेवा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
शिवराजा शिवराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
शिवराजा शिवराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो
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 शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
शंकर शिव नटराजा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
नटराजा नटराजा नतन शेखरा राजा
नतन शेखरा राजा
नतन शेखरा राजा
We'll have one final bhajan.
तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओ प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओ प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा चांद सूरज सितारे बनाया पृथ्वी आकाश पर्वत सजाया चांद सूरज सितारे बनाया पृथ्वी आकाश पर्वत सजाया अंत पाया नहीं तेरा पाया नहीं परवाना तू ही है रक्षा हमारा तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओ प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा पक्षी गण राग सुंदर है गाते जीव जंतु भी सिर है झुकाते पक्षी गण राग
ही सुख मिला तेरे राह पर चला जो प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा
पाप पाखंड हमसे चुराओ वेद मार्ग पाई हम चलाओ
पाप पाखंड हमसे चुराओ वेद मार्ग पाई हम चलाओ लागे भक्ति है मन करे संध्या हवन जगत सारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा
अपनी भक्ति मेरे मन लगाना कष्ट नंदलाल की सबसे मिटाना
अपनी भक्ति मेरे मन लगाना कष्ट नंदलाल के से मिटाना
दुखी कंगलाओं का
और धन वालों का ओ सारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा तू ही है रक्षा हमारा
तू ही है रक्षा हमारा
तू ही है रक्षा हमारा
Before we stand for Arati, we are very fortunate to have in our midst an exemplar in society and one that we look up to on each and every occasion. So I think it is only fitting that I invite Pandit Devendra. I know I'm catching him off guard. So I'll ask Pandit Ji if he can bring greetings and blessings on this occasion of Father's Day. If he wants to render bhajan, that too. So I will invite Pandit Ji to the podium as he brings greetings on this occasion.
तुम माता हो तुम भ्राता हो तुम ही हो पिता ललान भगवान You are my father, mother, friend, everything. Jai, 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 Shri Ram. Jai, 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 Shri Ram. Sitaram, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers and the mothers too. Why? Because you can't be a father without the mother. And even though the fathers would like to play football like the India Bhai, I see you walking around still. I don't know. Sometimes we have to give up the ball. Mother is there to help the children recognize that father is also important. So when we do puja for father, we must also remember mother too. And similarly, when we do for mother, father must also be there too. My very short words are, first of all, I have to commend Amral, Dr. Mitra, Roger. One thing that struck me when they spoke was the humility of each and every one of them, the three of them. The humility shows that they are willing, members of society, willing to make a difference in a positive way, to the extent that Dr. Mitra says, the limited success that I am, that we are, to that very limited extent. He humbled himself even though he knows that he is doing well and as an example to everybody who's around. Amralji as well, pointing out to his father, and I'm sorry, bhai, where are you? Happy Father's Day to you. I know you went through your challenges recently as well. May God bless you always. So just in closing, really, I want us to remember that Divine Father, but wherever our fathers are, whether here or not here anymore, to just take a mind to them for a moment and ask God, let us close our eyes and ask God to just bless them. Bless their souls if they're not here. Bless them if they are here with us. Hey Prabhu, my father has been the cause for me to come into this world. Help me to remember the good qualities that he had, and help me to be a child who is worthy of his love and who would make him proud. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Prem se bolo Shri Govind Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Ji says, I am the father of the entire world. Help us to recognize that. May you all enjoy your days. May you be filled with love. May you have the blessing of God, each and every one of you, wherever you are, whether elsewhere in the world or here present. Jai Sitaram, everybody.
Please stand for Aarti. Om Jai Jagadish Hari Swami Jai Jagadish Hari Bhakt Janu Ke Sankat Das Janu Ke Sankat Kshan mein dur kare Om Jai Jagadish Hari Jo ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरी शरण कहूँ किसकी स्वामी शरण कहूँ किसकी तुम बिन और न दूजा तुम बिन और न दूजा आश करो जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम करुणा की सागर तुम पालन करता स्वामी तुम पालन करता हम सेवक तुम स्वामी हम सेवक तुम स्वामी कृपा स्वामी सबकी प्राणपति किस विधि मिलो दया में किस विधि मिलो दया में तुम हो मैं कुंवरी ओम जय जगदीश हरे दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे अपने हाथ उठाओ अपने हाथ उठाओ द्वार पर तेरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों की संकट नास जनों के संकट जन में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे
Hari Om. We celebrate fatherhood. We celebrate that universal father who guides and exemplifies and who provides to us that inspiration of what it means to love our children, to nurture our children, and to guide and direct our children. For those of us who have not been fortunate today to have our physical fathers with us, we recall fondly the legacy that they've left behind for us to follow and for us to be proud of. For those with our fathers here, we celebrate them, we respect them, and we love them. This morning, we pay tribute as well to some of our fathers who, though while with us physically, could not be here. And I speak, for example, of Lanka Evans, one of the older fathers of the Mandir, Mr. Jairam Bali, another elder father of this Mandir, Mr. Bali Ramnanan, yet another. So many fathers that continue to make their contribution in a very quiet way by their example and by their mere presence. We also offer congratulations to our father of this Mandir, Mr. Vishnu Babulal, who will be celebrating his 30th wedding anniversary tomorrow with Jenny, another exemplary father. O Prabhu, you are mother and father. You are family and friend. You are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We surrender ourselves completely. Bless us all. Inspire us all. Hari Om. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Satoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय प्रेम से बोले श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय to those around you सबको जय सीताराम जय सीताराम जय सीताराम. Just briefly again we want to thank everyone for attending this morning's satsang and this morning's puja. Thanks to the Shri Sivak Sabha for the wonderful input and all of the planning that went into this morning's service. You are reminded that there are refreshments for you as you depart, but also there are tokens, as you've been informed of, prepared and presented by the ladies, the mothers of this mandir, so please partake before you leave. In addition, we continue every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. until 10 with our regular Sunday morning puja and satsang. I'm glad to see Uncle Bobby and his family here after a long time due to COVID. Uncle G, thank you so much for being here, and indeed to all persons who are here with us after some period of absence. Angeline, I'm talking about you too. I want to see Krishna here next week as well. And so we look forward to seeing you all with us each and every Sunday morning. You're reminded that tomorrow, because of the public holiday, there will not be yoga classes, but we'll be resuming next Monday. Yes, Mali, right? Next. So not tomorrow, following Monday. Those of you who would like to make contributions towards the upkeep of the mandir, you are please encouraged to do so. See any of the gentlemen or persons at the back, and they will take your donations kindly and issue the relevant receipts and so on. Those of you who want to sit to perform puja or hawan on a Sunday morning, you can see Mr. Gangadin after service to give your name. My error. It is Dindial and Toi's anniversary tomorrow. I think Vishnu and Naya later on. Sorry, yes. So Dindialji, you and Toi, please have a happy, happy anniversary. Yes. And I want to thank everyone for attending this morning's service. Bhagwanji's blessings to you, to all fathers. Enjoy the rest of the day. Jai Sitaram, everyone. Yes, there are items from our in-house puja store.